was the centurion, the captain. So you have a pagan who believes, and you know these words, surely this is a man of God. How did he know that? He saw him. He saw him how he was dying. He saw him, his righteousness, his love. And that's when he said, surely this man was the Son of God. The curtain was ripped. The centurion was able to come into God's presence. Everybody was, because Jesus did something that was the greatest of all. And so we talk about this for 2,000 years. There's no way we can talk about all of it, understand it all, but we know that it's love. And when someone says that the cross is beautiful, what's beautiful about it? Someone's dying on this cross. They're suffering. People are crying. What's beautiful on that cross? That love. Nothing else. That someone was ready to drink the wrath, the cup of wrath, for you and me, so that we don't have to, so that we could live forever. There's a story, a true story, about a paralyzed woman, Johnny Erickson. When she was 17 years old, she was full of life. She loved people, she loved sports, she loved swimming. And then one time, 17 years old, she's going with her friends to the lake to swim. And she jumps into the lake, but she misjudged the water. It was shallow, and when she jumped, she hit her head to the bottom, at the bottom of the lake, and broke her neck. And when she broke her neck, so from her neck down, she was paralyzed at 17. And what's the hardest was what happened after. She couldn't function anymore by herself. Every moment of every day she needed help. She couldn't do anything alone. And that was the hardest part. She says she was in a deep depression. She was even thinking of taking her own life, but she couldn't, because she couldn't move her hands. And in her biography, she says she started to envy people that could take their own life, that were mobile, because she couldn't even do that. So deep depression, deep sorrow. And she said, ask God why. She wrestled with him. Why did this happen to me at 17? And then a friend brought her a Bible, and he gave it to her to read, but he said this to her, these wise words: don't just seek healing, but seek God through the Bible. Don't just look for healing, which is the most logical, but look for God through the Bible. So she began to read. She read the Psalms, and this is the text that had the most influence. Romans 8:28. You know it very well, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. And so she started thinking, is it possible that something good could come from this, even for me? Is it possible? And then she started praying to God, and this was her prayer. She says, God, you don't have to change my circumstances, but change me. God, you don't have to change. I don't have to ever walk again, but change me. Change something in me. And that's when there was great change. She didn't heal, but what was holding her, the stress, changed. And then it says when she was at church, when the church knelt for prayer, she was crying. She was sitting in her wheelchair crying, and she was crying not because she couldn't kneel, but because this was such a great scene for her. The whole church is kneeling in front of God. And then she says, so she believed in the resurrection. She believed that one day she was going to be resurrected and she's going to walk again. And everybody would expect, well, maybe she'll run a little bit and she'll jump. Imagine what she said. The first thing she's going to do, when I stand on my feet again, the first thing I will do is kneel before Jesus. I'm not going to jump and run. The first thing I'm going to do is kneel, the thing I couldn't do on earth. Why is she going to kneel? Because of gratitude and thankfulness. Because Jesus drank that wrath, took her sin so that she could live eternally. And so we come to church, not just this Sabbath, every Sabbath, and we thank God. Our thankfulness should be, thank you, Lord, that you drank this cup of wrath, that I have open presence to come to you. No curtain, And let's think about that as we are doing our feet washing, and when we take this cup. It's not a cup of wrath. It's very good cup because we remember what Jesus did for us. May God bless you. And we will, as our tradition, go to our foot washing. I'd like to ask the sisters to go first. And then the men can stay and can sing. And then we'll switch. Everybody else doesn't remember. So that's our